answer lies in the heart of battle.
King of Iron Fist Tournament.
Mugen TV versus Corner.
Welcome to the stage of history retold.
Hey guys, this is Mugalore here, and I'm back again with another video. And this topic, when we talk about a game that I haven't talked about in over 2 years, and that's PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale, because some new details have just pretty much crept up on the internet, and there's a couple of journalist outlets that's pretty much picking up this rumor that's been going around about PlayStation All-Star and a potential sequel. Now, the shocking thing is, in this sequel that they're talking about, is going to be a collaboration between Sony and Capcom themselves when it comes to the PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2. So, sites like Screen Rant and another place called Snitch Gamer has been covering this. And also in this article, it also explains that the roster has also been leaked as well, for the starting base roster for the game, but they were saying that it could likely change, or more characters could add on to this list. So we're going to dive right into this article, and I'm going to give you my opinions, and I definitely want to hear your thoughts on it. So we're going to go to Niche Gamer. So it seems like that from this article, it says that this alleged fighting game, of course, if you guys don't know, PlayStation All-Stars is similar to, I guess you could say, Super Smash Brothers and a couple other platform brawler slash fighting games. Now, in the article, they did say that they're going to try to do something a bit different. The content will include single player and multiplayer, as well focus on being a games as a service. Now, we talked about in a video so many times after and after again that a lot of these games are going to be games as a service. Now, what games as a service is, just give you a brief summary, is pretty much they take a game, they release it, and then they gradually update the game with microtransactions, new characters, stages over time, so that one game will last for 5 or so or more years and beyond. So that's what they're planning on doing with many of these fighting games nowadays. Especially a perfect example, we have Street Fighter V. Street Fighter V, when they announced that Street Fighter V is going to be a PlayStation exclusive, they said that this is going to be a games as a service. And now you have Tekken 7 doing the same method with the different seasons, and they constantly keep adding new modes and features. Super Smash Bros. Ultimate is the same way with the Fighters Pass, and even though each character is being included through the update, they add new modes and everything. So this is where these games are going. So they're saying that PlayStation All-Stars, a potential PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, is going to pretty much have the same thing. It's going to be a games as a service. So they want to continue the revenue model using DLC and beyond. So it says later on in the post, this is supposed to be a business model they want to pretty much elaborate on. So while the retail version of the game will feature all the characters, the presumably digital version of the game will be free to play with a weekly rotation of playable characters. Fighting games have been doing this lately. If you think about Dead or Alive 5 last round, they had that feature. If you look at Xbox One with Killer Instinct, they had that feature as well, making it free to play. And I assume that eventually maybe Street Fighter 5 will do the same thing, go free to play and have character rotation. So they're planning on doing that as well. Players may purchase characters with real money as well as costumes. Characters cannot be unlocked or purchased with in-game money. So yeah, so in order, if you want to get the full game, you purchase the full game, or you have to purchase each character individually along with the costumes. Now, they're saying that if true, gameplay is said to be very casually attractable, yet with diverse gameplay from characters and depth still viable on tourney scale. So the whole goal of the original PlayStation All-Stars was they wanted to be a much more viable, much more competitive, somewhat like Smash Brothers type of game. And I must say, in my personal opinion, I like what they've done with PlayStation All-Stars, and I still have my gripes with certain design and concept decisions they decided to go with, which I go in after I finish this article. But it's like they still want to continue that tradition. They said gameplay will also utilize a lock-on button, super moves that can be easily executed via shoulder buttons with a face button, L1 plus triangle, L1 plus square. The UI and HUD elements are also very easy to track for casual players. No damage numbers or anything. You can see health bar of each player on top of their heads. Feels like Fortnite. So Fortnite is also cited in the alleged game's visual style, as art is very nice looking in this game. It's a mix of cel shaded with realism for characters. Environmentals are very cartoonish looking. Borderlands and Fortnite baby look. So the supposed project was attempted and canceled numerous times during the PlayStation 4's lifetime, roughly 2013 to 2016, and was developed by other Sony developers and partners. The rationale behind the support now is due to the success of multiplayer games as a service titles. So now that games as a service is pretty much working in today's gaming environment, it seemed like now this is like the perfect time for them to go back and give it another try. So here's a quote from Niche Gamer. Simply, Sony wasn't too hot on the quality of other titles and didn't want to spend money on licenses. But after seeing hot success of live titles and their lack of multiplayer games, they went huge on this. They partnered with Capcom to make this huge title and live title to be popular to end of PS5. Popular to end of PS5. So so from what I'm getting from this quote is that this game is going to pretty much be a PS5 launch, and they're going to have this. They're going to support this game all the way to the end of the PS5 life cycle. But we'll definitely dig deeper into that. So they said the supposed game's launch will occur with the launch of the PS5 and later on Windows PC in 2001. There will be no PS4 version, as it would allegedly interfere with large stages and events that require high CPU power of the other platform. Sony are allegedly heavily invested in the title and will spend an amazing lot of money at tourneys sponsoring Evo, etc. So it looks like they want to go with the PS5 with this game, and they wanted to make this somewhat around the launch window of the PS5, which this would be a way for them to pretty much push the PS5 console sales, which I think is smart, similar to what Nintendo does when they always try to release a Mario game or a Zelda game or sometimes even a Metroid game when they try to launch their titles, because that increases the sale and the units sold for their consoles. So they want to try to get this, if true, they want to try to get this game out by the time the PS5 releases. So we're going to move on. The supposed game roster was also revealed with 24 characters at launch. The roster could change until the game's official release, however. So before we even get into that list, they also want to pretty much take the competitive scene quite seriously, and they wanted to get this game up into Evo. So I think that'll be interesting to see how that'll work out. I mean, Smash has a huge presence in Evo, and to have a counterpart or a rival to Smash Bros., which is PlayStation All-Stars, I think that'd be quite interesting. Now we're going to move on to the characters, and I think what plays an important role with PlayStation All-Star and with crossover games like this is the characters. Everybody want to know what characters are going to be in the game. So let's read the list. So the list has Nathan Drake, it has Kratos, Sackboy, Ratchet & Clank, Jak and Daxter, Aloy from Horizon Zero Dawn, we have Hellgas from Killzone, we have Crash Bandicoot, Spyro the Dragon, Lara Croft, Tomb Raider, looking as she did in Tomb Raider Legends. Okay. Jill Valentine's from Resident Evil, of course, Sir Daniel Fortescue from Medieval. We have Kat from Gravity Rush, Dante from Devil May Cry. They'll probably give us the most recent Dante from Devil May Cry 5, I believe. Parappa the Rapper, Ellie from Last of Us, Delsin Rowe from Infamous, Cloud from Final Fantasy VII, interesting. Solid Snake from Metal Gear, appearing as his classic look, and we have Ryu and Chun-Li from Street Fighter. Okay, now as far as that roster concerned, it looks, I guess you could say it looks okay. I'm still looking for more classic characters from the PlayStation era. But before we even continue on, I'm going to give you my thoughts on that, but we want to move on because something interesting that has popped up on this as well. It says one more interesting supposed character is Marvel's Spider-Man. This allegedly came about from a deal with Sony, one of the front runners in marketing even. However, with the very public dispute between Disney and Sony over the film rights to Spider-Man, it will be interesting to see if this is still true. The poster finishes claiming they saw lots of talking about Ape Escape, Sly Cooper, Mike Haggard, Nero, Fat Princess, Tekken characters, and even Metal Gear Solid 4 Raiden. As I said, the game will have lots of future characters, even from different IPs. I expect Sephiroth, Raiden, Sly, MK characters, etc. in future, along with PlayStation IP that is launching. Now, okay, now let's move back to this roster. Now, this says 24 characters, and it says it could likely to change. Now, the thing about this roster is similar to Super Smash Bros. Super Smash Bros. When Super Smash Bros. First started out, they concentrated on Nintendo's history. They sell it as a celebration of Nintendo's history. So Nintendo focused on a lot of their IP. Now, when I look at this list right here, we do have some interesting choices, but at the same time, we don't really see any classics that represent Sony at all. Well, let's get some characters. What about some Legend of Dragoon representation? Dart from Legend of Dragoon. There's a couple other characters. Robert from Jumping Flash. Many of you guys may not know what Jumping Flash is, but that's one of the first titles that launched on the PS1. We need to see more representation, from that era. What about Alundra from the game series called Alundra? There's a lot of other characters that they can pull from the various different generations of Sony. Especially, let's go back into the PS1 era, because that's where it all started. And I would appreciate if they dig in there and do that, and you should have them in the base roster. But like I said before, if Capcom is definitely on board, if this is true, having Ryu and Chun-Li, I get that definitely makes sense. Having Jill Valentine in the game, that definitely makes sense as well. I think that'd be pretty interesting, but I do want to see more representation from other titles. A Monster Hunter character I think would be pretty cool, which I most likely they'll probably add that in there. And it makes sense to have, I guess you could say, Cloud in there as well, because we do have the Final Fantasy VII Remake that's approaching us in March. So to have Cloud in there, I think that would make sense. As far as the voice actor is concerned, they probably would go with the original voice actor, Steve Barton, to go play as Cloud as well. I think that would probably make sense. But overall, this roster looks pretty solid. I think a little bit more could have been added to it as far as adding in classic characters, but I really have nothing to complain about when it comes to PlayStation All-Stars. But we do need more characters that are more cartoon-like, but they did say that it's going to go with a cell shade look, a Fortnite look, so I think having that look on all the characters will make the characters blend, because I think the main issue that I had with PlayStation All-Stars, it looked like a Mugen game in a sense, is because they take all the character models didn't mesh together well, like how Nintendo take characters, and they took Ryu from Street Fighter and actually Smashified him. It made him look like he fits in Smash Brothers. Took Bayonetta, made her fit in Smash Brothers. And that's why I like Smash Brothers so much, because Nintendo was able to take a consistent art style and blend characters that wouldn't even naturally fit alongside Mario and Kirby, and actually make them fit in there. So I think them having a consistent art style in this one, I think is the right way to go, because PlayStation All-Stars, the original one, I was just not feeling the art style. It's just like they just took the characters from their games, ripped them, and just sat them in there. We missing also my girl from Heavenly Sword as well. We need to see her in there. But overall, it looks pretty solid, and them wanting to go competitive with this and wanting to see this game seen at Evo, they really wanted to fix the gameplay mechanics, because like I said before, the game was very solid when it came to combos, because there was true combos in the game that was very, very unique compared to Super Smash Brothers, and I like what they've done with that. And you had more options as far as your commands with the characters and stuff like that, and use the environments to be able to pull off certain moves. Now, speaking of environments, now what I want them to do is give each character or give a series their own individual stage. Don't mix the two stages together, because I didn't like that. Like you had Ratchet and Clank fused with God of War. It just looked as stupid. And you had Patapon, and you had another game, you had Parappa the Rapper and Resistance. It just didn't make sense. It's just stupid. I didn't like that at all. Another thing too, why they took out Ape Escape. They took out my boy Spike from Ape Escape. That doesn't make sense either. But if they want to make this competitive, they definitely need to fix the combat mechanics. You shouldn't, the combat mechanics that they had for it, where you have to kill in order to kill your opponent and to score points, you had to use your super to take out your opponent, which I think that was downright stupid, is because supers aren't created equal. Some characters are going to have better supers than others, and it was just downright stupid. So I think having a health bar, I think is a perfect way to go, and having some other unique mechanic to make it viable and competitive, but at the same time bring in the casual audience, I think that'll work. But that's pretty much my opinion, what I feel about this. I definitely want to hear your thoughts, and like I said, you got to take this for a grain of salt. These are just rumors going around, and it seems like it's picking up some traction. So I figured that, hey, well, why not? Why not cover it? Is because I covered it a long time ago, about 2 years ago, that I would like to see a potential PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2, and if this is true, PlayStation 5 will be. I have to get a PS5 right away to be able to get my hands on this game if this happens to be true. And I advise you guys to look into it to yourself. I'll post the link in the description below. So that wraps up the video. If you like this video, leave your comments in the comment section below. And what do you think about this this being a game as a service? And what do you think about the overall roster, the launch roster? And what other characters that you believe that should be in there? And what characters would you love to see as DLC? And what other franchises would you love to see represented in PlayStation All-Stars Battle Royale 2? This is Mugen Lord, and don't forget the bell to be notified, and also hit the subscribe button to be subscribed to my channel. This is Mugen Lord, signing off. See you Game Fiends later. Peace out. It looks like you reached the end of the video. Well, while you're at it, check out some of my other discussion videos by clicking on the annotations below, and don't forget to follow me on other social media platforms to stay up to date with future content. Signing off.